Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, DJI Mini Drones, I've got a few. Now, this is an introduction to the new DJI Mini 4K. I'm going to show you everything that comes in the box. I ordered the single battery version. Today is the 30th of April. The introduction was yesterday morning, the 29th. I ordered it yesterday from Amazon and received it the same day. So they've got the delivery down pretty quick. You cannot buy this drone on DJI's website. You can get it, I know for sure, at Best Buy and Amazon for sure. And there's probably some other retail outlets as well. It's only available in North America, the US and Canada, as well as Europe. So it's not a worldwide drone, it's just for certain markets. But DJI drones, yeah, I do have a few. From the original Mavic Mini, this drone was a revelation, right? It was the first sub 250 gram drone that allowed us to have a real Mavic stabilized camera video experience with a mini drone. They invented the genre. Make no mistake about it, DJI invented the mini drone category. So next came the DJI Mini 2. Now the Mini 2 brought us 4K video in a mini drone. And again, it added a lot more power than the original DJI Mavic Mini. And of course they dropped the Mavic name and just called it the Mini 2. But this one will fly at, I'm trying to remember, I believe it was 16 meters per second, just like the new drone. So the first mini drone that would pitch forward enough that you could really fight the wind. The original Mavic Mini, in much wind, it was troublesome for sure. And then the little Mini SE, the DJI Mini SE, well, they kind of fell back. They wanted to have a price leader drone, so they came up with this guy. And you know what? I'm just trying to remember what the purchase price was at the time, but I can tell you it was one of the cheapest mini drones available. This particular drone came with a Wi-Fi connection like the original Mavic Mini rather than the OcuSync 2 and the RCN1 controller that the Mini 2 came with. So then more recently, the Mini 2 SE. Well, what the Mini 2 SE did was brought the power and the ability of the Mini 2 to the SE drones, and this guy also came with the RCN1 controller and OcuSync 2. But again, it only will shoot in 2.7K 30 frames per second. So we get to where we're at right now with the Mini 4K. Now, one of the criticisms of the Mini 4K is they say, well, it's just another Mini 2. And in many ways, it very likely is. However, there are some key differences, one of which is price point. $299 for this drone. I think when this guy first came out, gosh, I think it was $559, something like that, and then the Fly More kit was even more. Don't quote me on that, but somewhere around there. It was much more expensive. So you get in this drone with a single battery for $299. Now, you can also buy a Fly More kit with a case like this one for $449. So I made myself some notes so that I don't forget any of the features of this particular drone. But there are some interesting things. It will shoot 4K in 24, 25, and 30 frames per second. Now, if you want a faster frame rate, you can go to 2.7K and shoot up to 60 frames per second. I don't remember if the original Mini 2 would do that or not. I think it was just 30 frames per second, but again, don't quote me on that. I'd have to look that up. However, it also has a digital zoom. Now, digital zoom, what do we mean by that? It's just cropping in on the sensor. It's not the lens of the camera moving or anything. But it will go 2 times zoom in 4K, and in 2.7K, I believe it will go 3 times zoom, maybe 4 times zoom. I don't remember for sure. One of the biggest advantages of the Mini 4K over the previous Mini SEs and quite frankly, the original Mavic Mini is the bit rate. These have about, I think, a 40 megabit bit rate. And the original Mini 2 had a 100 megabit bit rate, but this guy also has a 100 megabit bit rate. What does that mean? That just means that there's more information in each frame, more digital information in each frame. That's important to you because you get a much more refined picture, and then if you're an editor, if you do any post-production editing, you got a lot more information to work with. What I have noticed is it also makes a difference when you're turning the drone, particularly in a yaw. You can sure tell a difference between a 40 megabit yaw turn and a 100 megabit. It's a lot smoother. So there's that. Anyway, just wanted to explain that a little bit. Features-wise, like all of these drones, you don't need to register them with the FAA. They're anything sub 250, and you're not subject to, if you're flying recreationally, you're not subject to remote ID either. Now, if you start adding accessories to them and you get over that 250 gram weight, then yeah, you've got to register and all that. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have to abide by FAA regulations, because you do. Go on the FAA drone zone and read up and take the trust test. You must have a trust certificate in your pocket when you're flying any drone. So I should have mentioned when we were talking about the camera and the frame rates, etc., it is, of course, a 3-axis gimbal. All of these drones are, and it has electronic image stabilization. So if you're new to drones, what that means is you're going to have stable video. In other words, when the drone makes a turn or banks, your video is you're still going to have a straight horizon, and your video is going to look normal. Without that, you'd get, as the drone is moving around, you'd get jumbly video. So this absolutely has that 3-axis gimbal along with electronic image stabilization to give you a really smooth look to your video and your pictures for that matter. When you take a picture, you have a nice flat horizon. Range. So this uses the OcuSync 2 with the RC-N1 controller, and you get range up to 10 kilometer. That's just a little over 6 miles. You know what? In reality, depending on conditions, it's probably not going to fly that far. Battery-wise, I'm not sure you could fly out 6 miles and fly back. And quite frankly, why would you want to? That would certainly be beyond visual line of sight, and it is a little mini drone. So, but what that means is you have good signal strength. If you're in a situation where you're shooting through some trees maybe, or you have some terrain or so forth, or Wi-Fi interference, OcuSync 2 is really good in those situations. So flight time, DJI is claiming 31 minutes on a battery with this little drone. I'm telling you, you're not going to get 31 minutes. Reality is you're going to get about a 25-minute flight time, and maybe not even that, because you're going to want to land the drone with probably 20% battery left. I know there's people that push their batteries to the limit. Couple things there. If you start running your battery down real low, A, it's harder on the battery. B, you're taking the chance on being out someplace, and the drone, if the battery gets too low, it will auto land, and you'd be out searching for your drone someplace. So reality is you're going to look. I guess what I'm going to tell you is plan on about a 20-minute flight with this guy. That's going to be safe. So DJI also gave us some of the automated flight modes with this guy. It's got the full quick shot suite in it, and I love the quick shots, you know, with the droney, rocket, an orbit flight, a helix, and it'll do a boomerang. Those are all really fun automated flights that you can do with this guy. Some of them, quite frankly, are really hard to do. If you tried to do it manually, it'd be tough. The drone can automate those and take some workload off of the pilot. The other thing that they gave us is when you're shooting photos with this guy, you have auto exposure bracketing, which means it will take a picture overexposed, underexposed, and someplace in the middle. And then when you go into post-production, you can take those three photos, put them together, and that way you get more dynamic range in the picture. It also has timed photos too, so you can set it to say take a picture every second or so. So what that would do for you is you could do your own manual time lapse with it. In other words, you could set the drone up, have it take a picture every second of something that's, you know, movement going on in front, and then in post-production you could take those pictures and you could create a time-lapse video. So when it comes to takeoff and landing, etc., it does have an automated takeoff feature. You just hold it down and the drone will automatically take off. It also has an RTH feature. Press the button on either the controller or the app and the drone will remember its takeoff GPS position and come back to that position. Now, it doesn't have precision landing, so it's not going to land exactly on your landing pad or whatever, but it'll come back. And what I'll say you could use that for is when you get it back to you, take it out of that and then just land it manually. However, those are good features that they provide with it. It has emergency return to home. Say for some reason your battery died or on your phone or on your controller, you're not going to lose your drone. As soon as it detects that it's lost connection with the controller, it's going to turn around and come back. It remembers its home point. And then it also has low battery return to home. So there's an algorithm within the product that it knows when it has enough battery power to get home and land, and it will do that automatically. If you flew it way out there, there would be a point that it would say, no, I've got to come home because I've only got enough battery power to come back, and it would put itself into return to home and land. So flight modes, you've got a cinema mode on this guy speed-wise. In other words, it will just fly, I believe it's 4 meters per second. I should have that written down, but I don't. But it will go at a slower speed. That helps you get more cinematic video than you normally would be flying in what they call normal mode, or sometimes on the app you'll see it'll have a P at the top, P mode, which stands for position mode. But what that will do is you're flying at a more moderate speed. I think that is 12 meters per second is the top speed in normal mode. But then you can put it in sport mode and it will go 16 meters per second, which is just roughly 36 miles an hour. Now, what I'll tell you about sport mode is, and I'll hold one of these drones up so you can see, when it goes into sport mode, you got this little camera that if the drone is pitched way forward, is going to be looking at the nose of the drone. So what it does is it will do, I don't know, we call it gimbal knock. It will push the gimbal back down so that it's not looking at the nose of the drone. So that's one of the things. In sport mode, you just understand that you're not going to get the most cinematic video. So the other great thing about DJI is the Fly app, and it has an editor built into it called Light Cut that you can just edit. You can be out flying, edit your videos right in the app, and then upload them to social media right from there. So kind of a cool feature. I always do editing on my PC or my Mac, but yeah, if you wanted to do it within your mobile device, you sure can. DJI provides that Light Cut app that allows you to do that. Okay, enough talking about this drone. Let's pull it out of the box and take a look at it. And then once we're done with that, we'll take it out and we'll do a first flight. Okay, one of the things that DJI really does well is their packaging. It's almost like Apple in the way they create some elegant packaging. So you saw I pulled that strip off, and look, there's the top. So let's set it down, and there you see. And let me move this down so you can see they give you a QR code to give you instructions. If you're new, I would recommend you use that QR code to read or to take a look at DJI's starter videos, etc., and instructions. Pulling it out of the box here, let's pull it out. And typical DJI, you get the soft bag, and look at that. It's a form factor that we're very familiar with. You just saw my other DJI Mini Drones, and you know, it's, if you were looking at them side by side, you would struggle to tell the difference, except that this one says Mini 4K. Now, like my other special edition drones, and I'm going to call this a special edition, even though it doesn't say SE. I'm going to name this one after one of my drone friends. This is going to be the Ron Mini SE, named after my friend Ron Brown. I will put a little Ron sticker right there so that we can keep track of it and know which is which. My original Mini SE was the Johnny Mini SE. The Mini 2 SE, I named that the DeMarco Mini SE, again after friends of mine. Just a little bit of fun there. But anyway, what do we see here? We see the downward facing sensors. One of those is a receiver, one of them is a transmitter. It is a time of flight sensor that tells the drone how far off the ground it is. And then this is, believe it or not, is another little camera. That's called an optical flow camera. That tells the drone whether it's moving in space or not. So just a little inside baseball there. But let me get all these stickers off here, and we'll take a look at the drone proper. You know what? In the meantime, before I do that, let's take a look at the rest of the box. So pull that out, and look at that, we got a box underneath. So let me get out of that out, and we'll show you the accessories. So here's the box with accessories. So it was down in there like that. The usual stuff. You're going to get extra props, etc. So I'm not going to dig all this stuff out of the box. Most of you have seen, you know, drone cables, etc. But these are the various OTG cables that you use with the drone. You got a couple extra props down in there, and of course the documents. What I'm going to tell you about things like this quick start guide, etc. for the Mini 4K, you know what? Save yourself some trouble. Go online and download the PDF, or just look at it online, you know, rather than the small print. Oh, and they give you a DJI sticker as well. So we've all become very familiar with the DJI RC-N1 controller. Although I've heard this one, they kind of gave it a new name. It's the RC-N1C. Let's get it out of the bag and we'll take a look at it. So I'm going to try and get this close to the camera. Let's get focused here, maybe. Yeah, so there you can see it. You can see right there it says RC-N1C, so that's something new. But it's essentially the same controller. You got the gimbal sticks down there on the bottom, and the stuff that we're used to. Now, I'm not going to go over this whole controller right now. We'll save that for a beginner's guide video. However, anybody that flies DJI is very familiar with this. You know, your OTG cable down in here, and I'm willing to bet this is probably, yeah, they always put the lightning cable in there. I've got a newer iPhone, so I'm going to have to use the USB-C, pull that one off and switch it out, and that's in the accessory bag. But, you know, the gimbal scroll wheel right here, and the start video, take a picture button right there, and you can switch between the two right there. On and off button, return to home, pause button, and the function button right there. Again, we'll save going into detail for a beginner video. Okay, here's the little drone. I took all the stickers off. Typical DJI fashion, there were stickers all over it, and I've had other DJI drones that I've flown them for up to a year, and I still find stickers hidden someplace. They like their stickers. But let's pull the gimbal cover off so you can see the little gimbal. And I'll bring that in close there. Yeah, hopefully that'll focus in. There's that 3-axis gimbal, you know, as it moves around in its 3 axes to keep everything stable. You know, same camera, I believe, as that we've seen on DJI Mini Drones for a while. Now, one of the things I do believe that they changed is the chipset in this drone to handle that 4K 30 frames per second and the 60 frames per second in 2.7K. At least that's the rumor that I heard. Now, one of the differences between the Mini 2 and this, there's no light on the front. The Mini 2 had a light up there, and by pressing this button, I believe it was this button, and then in the app you could turn it on and off, and you could have it blink in different colors. Okay, so let's unfold it. Again, Mini 4K right there, so you're not going to confuse it. In typical DJI fashion, the back arms kind of fold out, pulling them backwards rather than straight out. And then the battery itself. I should also point out, micro SD card slot. You're going to want to put a high-speed rated micro SD card in there. I'm going to say a U3 rated card, V30 or V60 or better, so that you can record that 4K video. And then you've got the USB-C slot there for transferring files, but also for charging, because I just got the single battery version. It doesn't come with a charge hub, so I'll have to charge it within the drone itself. So this is where the battery lives, right there. So that's the little battery, and we're we're used to this with these style of DJI Mini drones. And I don't remember the milliamp hours of this battery, and it's in small writing there, too small for me to read. Let's see if we can get it up close here. Get it to refocus. Maybe. There we go. You should be able to see that there. And if you want to read the milliamp hours, I can't remember what it is. In any case, 31 minutes flight time. That's the main thing you need to know. Yeah, that just slides back in there, and then you close the door and you're off to the races. Hey, I also wanted to point out that if you bought the Fly More combo, you'd get a bag similar to this one. This is my Mini 2 bag, but it's going to be, if not identical, very similar, where you have room for the drone and the controller and accessories off to the side there. So I don't know that it would be identical, but it's going to be pretty close. The other point is with the Fly More combo, you're going to get a couple extra batteries, and you're going to get a charge hub so that you don't have to charge it in the drone like I was talking about, charge your batteries in the drone like I was talking about earlier. Hey, it was too windy to fly today, so I'm going to take the little drone out for its first flight tomorrow. But I also wanted to show you that I renamed it. Yeah, it focused in there. It's the Ron Mini 4K now. I've always named my SE Special Edition drones after friends of mine. So yeah, this one's named the Ron Mini 4K. But in any case, I'm going to end this video right here. We'll just call it an unboxing and introduction. For one thing, it would get kind of long, so we'll put this into 2 parts, and part 2, the first flight, will be coming very soon. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out, and if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I so appreciate you taking the time to look at this video, and of course, we'll see you on the next one. The DJI Mini 4K, DJI has another winner on their hands. See you guys later.